Good afternoon and welcome to Pinhole Quilting. We are just slightly later than expected. Sometimes we have other things going on and we were just finishing off a few of those. And also we've got so many things that we're doing at the moment that we've got lots of balls that we're juggling, and we're going to show you some of those things. They're not balls, they're sewing machines, and that's what we do. So welcome to Pinhole Quilting. I'm Liz and my husband Pete is just behind the camera. We've got a long weekend here in the UK this weekend, one of our May bank holiday weekends. And unlike last weekend, when we were at the Malvern Quilt Show all weekend, the weather's not looking so good, and Pete is desperately disappointed because it looks like cricket is not on, is it, Pete?
It's been cancelled for Sunday.
Sad face. Pete's got a sad face. You don't see Pete's sad face, but honestly, it's really sad.
I'm not going to turn the camera on.
He's not going to do. It reminds me a little bit of Pete's story about getting a passport photo recently, which is absolutely hilarious. Went to this photo booth to get his passport done because he needed the renewal, and it was one of these where it sort of checks that it meets the criteria for your passport. So you're not supposed to be smiling. So Pete's sitting there, not smiling. Go on then, Pete. What happens next?
So I'm sitting there doing my best not smiling impression. It takes the photo and then I have to put my glasses back on to read what it says on the screen. And
you can't see without his glasses.
What it says on the screen is, "You appear to be smiling. You will have to try again." So I try again and I put an even more serious face on the second time round. Yes, a bit like that. Glasses off, press the button, flash goes. I put my glasses back on, look at the screen, it says, "I'm sorry, that does not meet our criteria. You appear to be smiling." So
He's not smiling anymore.
Third time lucky. I put on the fiercest looking face you can imagine. And that is now the wonderful, that met the criteria. And now that's my passport photo for the next 10 years.
So it now looks like every time he goes on holiday that he's absolutely a miserable so-and-so that you wouldn't want to be sitting next to on the plane. Anyway, just reminded me of that, his look when he couldn't play cricket. And that's sad, isn't it? You wait all these... This is our 12th day in a row, which is maybe why
working,
it's even
yes.
more working in a row, which is why those days off are even more important.
Well, I missed the cricket last Sunday when it was absolutely glorious.
It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous.
Because we were at Malvern.
So last weekend we were at the Malvern Quilt Show, which was lovely. It was so nice to see so many friendly faces. They were a lot friendlier than Pete's passport photo, let's face it. And it was just great to see everybody. And how many people entered? Loads of people entered. There were more entries this year than for a long time. And one of the reasons being that, according to our lovely customer Caroline, she said, "Liz, where's your quilt? Because I entered my quilt," she said, "because of you on Facebook, because you said you were going to enter." And I didn't say which competition. She says I did, but I don't think I did. Anyway, I have got a block as part of a quilt going into Festival of Quilts. So I ticked that box. But Caroline, congratulations, because Caroline won the piecing prize at Malvern. And we also had a number of other people who won, and congratulations to everybody who took part. As part of the items not yet completed, I couldn't tick off my checklist, was all of the photos from the Malvern Quilt Show that I haven't shared yet. So I'm hoping, that at some point I will get to share those photos. So there's a lot of catching up to do on this Facebook Live, but we are going to do some stitching as well. We're going to use the lovely Amara, I said to Pete said, "Are you going to do some stitching?" And I said, "Oh, I can do some stitching." We're going to talk about feathers, we're going to talk about the panel, the perfect practice panel that Helen Burnham has done this amazing job on this particular panel, which we showed last time, I think. But we've got competition. So if you haven't entered our competition yet, I only just posted it, but enter our competition. You could win one of those practice panels, not quilted yet by Helen. This is going to be quilted by you, together with the lovely curated, coordinating set of threads. So this is what you could win. 2 sets of these. It's available to win £50 worth.
2 prizes, yes,
Two
of
prizes.
a panel and a set of thread.
Yeah, exactly. So there's 2 of those as a giveaway, and all you need to do is like, share, follow, and tag. Tag your friends. because I've got an extra one. If somebody's got a tag on their winning entry, then we will put in an extra and tell you that. Yes, so if somebody tags the winning entry, if they get picked and they've tagged a friend as well, they get a friend for that. The friend gets one as well, Pete. Okay. So actually, this could be 4. Anyway, if you don't tag, you just win. So let's talk about that in a moment, but we'll talk about the Malvern Quilt Show in a little bit more detail. So the Malvern Quilt Show, lovely, lovely quilt show. If you've never been, then definitely put in your diary for next year, because it's a lovely backdrop. And I spent, after we'd done the setup on the Wednesday, Pete and Mark, because they're in the same cricket team, they went off to play cricket in the gorgeous sunshine were you at Overbury?
Yes, which is the most beautiful cricket ground at the foot of Breeden Hill. It's one of those many villages around Breeden Hill in this part of the country which are just glorious, quintessentially English.
Absolutely gorgeous. Because when we were cycling, we went past that, didn't we?
We did.
We went round Breeden Hill. And it's absolutely gorgeous, but equally gorgeous was my walk up to the top of the Malvern Hills, and it was lovely. What a lovely way to end my setup day. So for those of you who came and said hello, it was lovely to see you. Lots of people from all around the country come to the Malvern Quilt Show. It's one of those quilt shows that's a really lovely place to visit. So, people make it a weekend or a weekend away. So think about that for next year. We've got a slightly bigger stand next year because we're going to have other things. Well, we're not definitely on that yet, but we're going to be having other products as well. We're just continuing to do different things. So we hope that you can make it next year. Now, at the Malvern Quilt Show, there were a number of people who won in that quilt show, including our local quilt group, Competent Quilters, who won the best charity quilt group. So big shout out to Pauline, who works for us here at Pinhole Quilting. She has a lovely Amara. And one of the other ladies in the group, Marlene, quilted the winning quilt. She has an Amara. And Caroline, who won the piecing prize, now she's got a Simply. What's Caroline got?
Yes.
I think she's got a Simply. Her friend Nikki has got an Amara. Do you get the feeling there's quite a lot of long arms in this group? Well, they know each other quite a lot of the time because of Pinhole Quilting. So we're very glad that we've put all those people together, and look what an amazing quilt they made. And they make quite a lot of quilts for charity. So it's a really lovely group, and I feel a privilege to be I think you'd have to call it honorary member, because I'm not actually often there in reality, because I'm usually working. So what else has been happening? I'm just going to give you a quick catch up on other things, exciting things that have happened as well. This week, we were up in Manchester, weren't we, Pete? We were up in Manchester because we've already got a machine, a long arm, at Manchester Metropolitan University in the Fashion and Textiles department, and it's been there since, I think, 2012. They do a great job on teaching and showing the students how to use long arms for quilting, textile designs, adding surface texture, etc. And they've got a Forte, which is a predecessor to the Amara 24, and they've got Pro Stitcher on that as well. So that has been a really fantastic thing to have at Manchester Metropolitan University. For various reasons, it's inspired a whole batch of students to know about long arm quilting. But in the new robotics lab, which is a fabulous space, isn't it, Pete? I mean, what a
really is. Really high-tech.
Really high-tech stuff. So the idea of this robotics lab is to take elements of what technologies used in other sectors like car manufacturing and various other things to bring it into fashion. It's a postgrad area, and we've been working with them, and we've got a Amara Pro Stitcher into the robotics lab, and we installed it on Wednesday. So that was very exciting, and we look forward to seeing what they're going to do with it. In there as well, they've got lots of other robots. They've got this incredible machine that puts a concave and a convex pieces together. If you think of Drunkard's Path and you think about how difficult that is, this machine does it on its own. Magic eyes and just incredible. It's a German machine. So they've got some really phenomenal tech in there, and it's really inspiring. So that's what we were doing on Wednesday. Anything you'd like to add on that?
Sadly, Manchester lived up to its reputation for being biblical as far as rain was concerned, and the drive back that evening was pretty awful down the M6.
It was terrible. I had to go to the car to get some extra things, and honestly, I came back and I was a bit like, can I mention, there was a certain...
I don't know what you're going to mention, so I can't say in advance.
There was biblical rain for somebody who was announcing a big announcement this week politically. It was a bit like that.
Oh, yes.
Okay, other things coming up. Oh, Stuart Hillard, what a lovely job he does with his Amara with Pro Stitcher, and it's great to see his reels on Facebook. I tagged one of them yesterday. Stuart's going to be here. He's going to be here at our showroom in Pershall, and he's going to be talking about long arm quilting, but he's also going to do machine quilting. He's taught machine quilting for years, and we've got a whole batch of machines, because this is the exciting thing. We've now got Janome, Juki and Pfaff machines for sale here at the showroom. Now we've got them, they're not online yet, we're just getting them all up online. We'll be launching it in full, anyway, we'll let you know. I'm just going to show you, this is absolutely beautiful machine. This,
surprisingly heavy, that machine.
Oh, this one is, yeah. Yeah, it is.
Very mechanical.
Look at this. Look at this. This one is a straight stitch Juki, and I've wanted to get this one in for ages, and I've had a number of customers ask about this one. I see it quite often at our customers' houses. In fact, I was servicing a Capri only yesterday, and the predecessor to this, the 98Q, was what the customer was using, Maggie, was using to do her piecing. And she said she's done so many piece quilts with it. She does a load of quilting. It's a straight stitch machine. It's a powerful motor, 1500 stitches per minute, and it does what it does incredibly well. It's got the reverse handle here, so you just push on that. You can actually use your elbow for it. We've got our stitch length up here. This goes up so that you can easily do cones without having to add anything extra to it as well. So it's absolutely super machine, beautiful motor. We love it. We love it. Straight stitch machine for piecing. Absolutely fantastic. Put that one down. And this one's lighter, isn't it?
It is.
Yep. So this one, this is the DX2000 QVP. It's very much like the DX7, but this particular one, it comes with some extras which are great for machine quilting. So we have got a swing needle machine or a zigzag machine. We've got various things that can be programmed, and because Juki, it comes from the stable of having industrial machines in their background, they include quite a lot of the time-saving things, such as being able to use your heel tap for programming it so that you can do things like thread cut at the end. So we'll be doing more and more demonstrations of both long arm quilting and machine quilting as well, using domestic machines as well as long arms. Very exciting, very exciting. And I just love the fact that I'm selling sewing machines as well. Again, we used to sell them at Cotton Patch, and for many years we did Pfaff. In 1999 we launched our own Cotton Patch anniversary edition. We sold hundreds and hundreds of those machines, and it's something that I've been doing for quite a long time, and I feel like it's a good addition to what we can offer our customers, both from machine quilting or machine piecing, or for those people who can't get a long arm in, they can be able to do quilt as you go techniques. We'll be showing you more things than that. We've got some really good people that we've been talking to that we'll be having classes with as well.
So that's just a couple of Juki machines. We've got lots more behind the scenes, and also machines from Janome.
Exactly, Janome and from Pfaff.
And from Pfaff.
The thing is that these might be machines that you might want to take to class. They might be ones that you want to do your piecing with, or they might be the highfalutin embroidery machines. We go all the way up to the Pfaff Creative Icon 2, which is Bluetooth enabled. It's got almost like an iPad on the side. You can actually watch videos of how to use it. So these are just a sort of taster of the kind of things that we'll be doing. So if you're interested in learning more about the sewing machines, come along to that fun day that we'll be having with Stuart on the 15th of June, because we'll have all those machines available. You'll be able to have a look at those too, as well as the long arms. So come along It's £10, you get it refunded against any purchases that you might make on the day for, say, thread or whatever. So, you know, it's just about coming here and being part of it.
So we're just training people up on these machines as well, including our two new staff members, Michelle and Casey, who some of you may have seen at the Malvern show last weekend. It was their first attempt at helping us out at the show, and they both did incredibly well. Oh, this is unplugged.
I just better check it. Can't believe that. Has anybody said anything?
They haven't the last time I looked.
I unplugged my mic. I'm quite close to the machine.
So hopefully...
Can everybody hear me? Oh, I can't believe I did that.
Hopefully we didn't
I must have just caught it.
Liz too much there.
I must have just caught it when I was doing my talky bits. All right.
Okay.
So yeah, open day, 15th of June. Come along, we'd love to see as many people as possible. So here's our threads. We're going to do some demos now.
Let's have a quick look at those colours, Liz, because
yeah.
they're such a nice selection of colours.
You can see that without it shining too much. There we go.
Carefully selected to match
Absolutely.
the panel.
See, this is some of the fun jobs that Pete and I had. This one was my job. I had to go and pick out those threads that match. Whoops.
It's all right.
Now, when we get a panel like this, it's very useful to be able to kind of think about how you're going to use it. So this panel is effectively it's a duplicate, so you can kind of try one thing out on one side and one on the other. Okay, but also it's got shading, so we can see the effect of thread colour against a background that's changing. And the reason I did that is that sometimes you don't know until you've actually started to stitch, which is why
Do you want to pick an example, Liz, and then we'll get a close-up.
There we go. You see that?
Yeah, so same thread colour, very different effect on different shading.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some really good examples in here of that. And, you know, there's some more on this side. These are different on this side. And Helen used a variegated thread, a metallic thread on some of it too, which is really interesting. So I've put some guidelines on there as well for like the 45. I just printed a guideline. So if you did want to sort of practice how you would do like a mirror of something, I've already marked the guideline for you. So the idea being that these really are practice panels, but they were so useful for our practice that we did for the class. And this was some things that I did earlier. This was one that we did, which is the other practice panel. This isn't the one that you get for free if you win. But this shows you the things that we're going to be doing on the rulers and fills. I don't know whose this was somebody that came on the class. And you can see we've marked it using the blue wash away marker. So this one is the circles practice panel. I think we've only got a few of these left, but I can do a reprint. Because we designed these ourselves with the help of Helen and Carolyn James, so that we've got something that would be very useful in the classroom situation. That would help us and be ancillary to our teaching, and it would enable us to do more than we can just by having like the black and the grids is not so inspiring as having colour. So these kind of things, I think what I'd just like to share with you is, you know, how do you do this practice? If you start with straight lines.
Can you just check your mic again, Liz?
Oh, no.
You seem to be louder when you're close to the camera.
That's not a good sign, is it?
It all seems to be plugged in.
Yeah, I'll just repair it.
Just reset it.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
You need to move further away from the
Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. I really do have problems with this, don't I? It's nothing I've got that I can pin it onto that this doesn't get pulled.
Some people saying they can hear you fine, other people saying that you get better as you get close to the camera.
Those people who experienced me having mic problems, getting closer to the camera, it shouldn't make any difference how far away I am. So That probably does indicate that there was a problem. I will just talk a little bit louder and hopefully you can hear me. So what we're going to do, I keep putting that away and I don't want to put it away. I was doing straight lines. I got confused by my mic issues. So how about we just do one of these? I can do it on here. You ready? Okay. So imagine this is my panel. All right. I'm not going to do it on the real practice thing, because I'm just going to practice my drawing for now. So this is, I've divided it in two. So the top of my feather goes here, bottom of my feather goes here. We always start with like a teardrop, like this. So it's always good to practice with a pen or a pencil. Now this is a very good one to practice with because it's quite thick chalk.
It flows very easily, doesn't it?
It does. And by the way, you can just use the eraser at the end to get rid of it. There we go. Not sure that's got rid of it as well as... There we go. And there is a fabric eraser you can get. So let's just talk about the breakdown of these shapes. The teardrop, this. If you imagine this is like a long elongated S, and this bit here is a C. So you're joining those two things together, and you can either go that way, or you can go that way. It doesn't really matter, you're going to come back to here. Okay, so I did that, and then I started a new feather. Alright, so I just sweep round at this sort of angle. The angle is quite important. That sort of angle needs to be consistent, otherwise your feathers fall over. So we try and keep that angle consistent through all your feathers. The other thing is, if you use this dashed line in this case as the point at which your feather top meets the next one, that's also quite useful. So if we go up, we backtrack, and then we do a new feather and we come back to the middle. And then we travel and we create a new feather. I'm just doing that so you can see where it is. And then we backtrack back to the dash line, and then we create a new feather. And we go travel. Don't start too late. If you do this distance here is too big. So you need to start your new feather a little earlier than that. Don't leave it too late. Backtrack, and then back to the middle. And so on. And this is how we do feathers. And practicing straight feathers can be a little tedious, but it gets the shape and the formation.
Now I'm okay at doing the feathers in that direction above that line. It's the below the line ones that I'm finding more difficult.
Okay.
Because clearly it's in a different direction, and I find it more difficult to get the sweep and the consistency.
But that's really typical, Pete, because almost everybody finds one direction easier than the other. So we do our little teardrop. So yeah, I suppose what it is the S is like that. It's a reverse S and a reverse C. So that's maybe that's why it is. And then we do our next one, and I'm going to start a new one, and then we bump, and we come back down to the middle, and we take a new one, and we bump.
And are you looking at the feathers above the line here to make sure that you get them parallel with those?
Well, if I wanted to, that's a very good question, Pete. If I wanted to do that, I wouldn't do it like that. Okay, what I would do, I can show it on this one here. Let's get rid of those lines. Okay. So if I wanted to do that, I'm going to show you. This is the middle here. This is the line in the middle. If I wanted to do that, I'd do a teardrop to begin, and I would do my bounce and come back to the middle, and then I would do the teardrop below the line, and then I'd bounce, because it's easier to keep track by doing pairs.
So you do it in sections,
and
that's easier to make it consistent.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my experience. You see, it's hard to mirror if you don't. I am changing them. I'm making some a little bit more buxom, but I'm trying to do that equally. There's a very buxom one. Blousey. There we go. So that is much more paired than that ever will be, because you're right, it's actually quite hard to pair them after the event. So I hope you can see this is just a little bit less clear. There we go. Shall I put the light on?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that better? Oh, that's pretty clear. Okay, so that's kind of our basic straight line feather. Now some people may find it easier, I'm going to draw this one down here, may find it easier, I'll put this as my straight line in the middle, a bit wonky, to do feathers like this, where you literally, and this is an alternative. I did a whole quilt like this, pretty much. And they look, I still think they look great.
There's so many different types of feather, aren't there?
Yeah. It's kind of a basic feather. And in fact, I was, quite funny, you know how you see quilting designs everywhere? Well, some people do. I was with my mum, and I was sitting having a coffee, and there was a quilting design on the upholstery of the chairs we were sitting on, and it was this. It was literally...
Yeah, okay, so yes, these are...
Oops.
It's like a continuous line feather.
I took a picture.
One side and then the other.
I should post it. I said to my mum, look, there's the feathers. It was like that. It was lovely. Probably a little bit more elegant than that, actually.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just going
Designs
to
everywhere.
put this up right, see if anybody's got any comments or questions on that.
I'll just keep drawing.
They're not coming up on my phone, so I just need to go back to my...
I want to see if I can find that photo I took with my mum. Where's it? Where's my... I've got it.
Glenys has arrived just in time for the bucks and feathers. Timing is everything in life, Glenys.
I have my phone out here, I think. Did you see my phone?
I'll find it for you.
Okay.
I moved it.
Oh, right. Yeah, so we'll just have a look at some other ones as well on here. Let's just study the anatomy of a feather.
Because you've been doing just horizontal feathers there, Liz, which is easier probably than
so
vertical.
let's just talk a little bit about, vertical, yes. This is the
diagonal.
thing. Unless you have a sit-down machine with a stationary table, you're going to have to go any which way you like. I mean, take for example Linda's feathers up on the wall over there. They're in every direction because she's got 4 quarters. And she's going literally in any direction. So very important to practice going in lots of different directions. Can I get rid of this? Are there any scissors attached to that machine?
Yes.
Thank you. These trailing feathers threads are not very good. For clarity.
Do you want to move the fabric on a bit?
I think we should move the fabric on. Fabric would be great. So there we go. Right. Beautiful. So here's my practice tips for you. You want to go that way, and we need to go this way as well. So if we want to go this way, just do the same thing. So we're going to quarter it, halve it, whatever. And in this case, you're going to be going there, bounce. Let's do equal ones. Bounce. And back. And not forgetting to travel. And then new. Bounce. Back. New. Bounce. Back. And look, I'm holding my hand up to practice this. This is like the movement that I would get from my stand-up machine. That was a bit buxom. Okay, like so. So going in this direction, and you can vary them. I mean, I've got some lovely examples of when Laurie Tigner came over, and Laurie's feathers, she does little ones, then she does big ones, make it look a little bit more organic, etc. You can just keep going. So practice that way, and then you got to, actually going up is easy. I think going up is easy. Going down is possibly more difficult. I don't know. Because I suppose I've practiced it in all directions. It's not really, you just have to practice it, etc. And have a think about what you're going to do at the end. So are you going to do something like that? Looks a bit ugly. You can also think about what you might do at the beginning. You can put in a little lozenge and then have it so that it comes like that. You could also put a little circle at the end. You could put a circle there too. That looks quite nice. So have a think about how you finish it so it looks elegant. If you're doing it in a circle, there is a circle on one of them. Other considerations. Here's a nice little tip. If you're doing it in a circle like this, what you've got to do is start off with only a part feather. So you just kind of do the, what's that? It's a reverse C, isn't it? Yeah. So you leave this bit blank. The reason being that when you do your final bit, so if I do this really big, I don't know whether you can see from there, I've lost my cameraman. Oh, Pete's gone to find Laurie Tickner's example. Great idea, Pete. So this, it's fabulous. Oh my goodness. Laurie just won at AQS, didn't she?
Oh, did she?
Yeah. Oh gosh, her applique is just outstanding. So this was done by Laurie Tickner, the very talented Laurie Tickner. And she did a class with us. We were so lucky to have Laurie come over. Like this.
Right,
Look
yes.
at that.
Okay, so you were trying to demonstrate or show that the different sizes of feathers.
That's right.
For infills here.
Mm-hmm. And also the meeting point. So what she did was she did these as sections. So you've got these sections here. And she designed this and these sideways ones so that they meet. So this was a section, this is a section. This is the same as this, and this is the same as that.
Looks very organic, doesn't it? But there's a bit of planning that has to go into that.
Yeah, so this was all done on like a tracing paper as well, so that you could actually plan it all. And notice the scribble so that it knocks it back.
Much easier to see it if you lift it slightly, just because the light then gives some shadow.
Isn't that gorgeous? I also, in terms of the detail of this little piece, what I love is like the double lines on the ruler work. I think
yes, we'll get a close-up on that, Liz, because, yes, from a distance it looks as if they're just single lines, but the double-lined ruler work there really makes a big difference.
It does. It's exquisite. And where the sort of the motif is in the centre, the sort of flowers here, knocking back by using a ruler. So using a ruler and then actually using it so that you can easily move it up and down. I'm just going to get a ruler and just show you how we do that. Very, very nice little technique. I would use something like this. I haven't got the ruler foot on, but you don't need it. So we normally have like the sticky, not sticky, like sandpaper stuff on the back. And this is called handy grip. But you don't want to use that side. So what you do is with your ruler base on and your ruler foot, you literally, I'm going to demonstrate this as like it's my ruler foot, you literally up, back.
So you would turn the ruler over for this so that it
smooth.
Slides on the fabric.
Because it doesn't matter if you doesn't really matter if you slip a little bit. You hardly do, because you're doing such a short section. It's quite easy to hold it for that amount of time. And I did one like Laurie's, but Laurie's finishing is so much better than mine. It's very, very good. And it's lovely because it's not absolutely like every line is slightly different to the previous one. That's fine. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. Okay, so there we have a little bit on feathers, but I was going to tell you a little bit as well about handling a circular design, which if you come on our next feathers class, we've got one. Actually, well, Linda Jackson's going to be teaching the whole cloth and feathers in September, so look out for that when that goes online. But just to give you a little insight into when you're doing, I don't know if you can show this, Pete, but when we're doing a circle like this with a feather, to start it, you don't do a whole feather. You don't do that. You just do part. Because when you get back, when you've done all of your circle, and of course it goes faster on the inside than the outside. You have to travel, bounce, travel, bounce, travel. Just like this. It's all very... And about here, you're thinking, how many more can I get in? So here, I know that I just got that last one to do because I left that little gap.
Look at that.
Okay.
It's all live, ladies and gentlemen.
All live. And next week at the ballroom. Yeah, so, and it's, I mean, I love doing these. I love doing them. But this is quite tricky in the middle. Look, you got to curl them round. You got to curl them round because, of course, these, they've got to come back in here.
But that's so effective to do the circle in a circle on feathers, isn't it?
It is. Like that. And then you knock all that back. Yeah?
Yeah.
Beautiful. So good. So good. Other pens that we've got is the fine one, if you like doing fine marking, which is nice. And filling shapes and things we'll talk on another time. Or
So
if you've got
these
light
are-
fabrics,
Yeah.
just these water erasable pens, we sell them.
So we've talked about them before, but these are the
Yeah.
Bowen chalk
Oh, yeah.
pencils. That's the fine one, 0.7 millimetres, I think, is the thickness of the nib on that. And this is the standard one, which also comes with multiple colours now, blue
does.
and red or white
Yeah.
chalk.
Yeah. Once you've practiced your straight lines on the panel, we've also got wavy lines. So the nice thing about filling these is the fact that you can then practice varying sizes. We've also got triangles, and this is something that we taught on our feathers class. But a little bit short on time today because we've got a few other things to mention, I think. What else? Oh, I don't know. I think we might have done it.
Well, we need to talk about, just very briefly, about
yes.
the classes we're doing at Festival of Quilts, Liz, and who they're aimed at, and the fact that there are still spaces available.
And I didn't tell you, Pete, but I've been discussing with Pauline. We've just been brainstorming, and with Carolyn Clark, who may be watching this, who's been staying with Sharon this week. I'm not going to announce it yet.
Not even to me, clearly.
You'll be the last to know. So, oh, we've got that finished one that Helen did as well. Can you bring that over?
Sure.
We'll talk about festival in just a second. I forgot that we haven't brought this one over. This is lovely. This is the other panel. Like I said, there's only a few of these left online, but we can order more. So add it to your wish list if you can't order one. But this is beautiful. Look, there's that feather going around in circles. Fabulous. Loads of different feathers on that one. These were much admired. Well done, Helen. Well done, Helen. She did a fantastic job on those.
I'm sure we'll take them to Festival of Quilts as well, won't we?
We will. So, Festival of Quilts. The classroom at Festival of Quilts, it's really designed to give people who haven't had a chance to have more than just a quick go on a long arm, who want to learn more about loading or feet, or, you know, we've got 6 machines there that you'll be able to use one person per machine, and it's a great opportunity to learn from a really experienced teacher. So for those who are new to long arming, that's what those classes are designed for, okay? And then we'll be announcing very soon, once I've discussed with Pete, some other opportunities for those people who've already got a long arm. Okay.
Yes.
You're in suspense. But don't worry, there's nothing there yet at the moment. You've
Yes.
not happened to... But I've got some other ideas as well.
Yeah,
Pete.
but the classes that are currently for sale on the Festival of Quilts website are
Yeah.
not intended for existing customers.
No.
You won't learn very much.
You won't, honestly.
It's not aimed at you.
No, you might do. Actually, I mean, we have had them before where people have gone, oh, that's really interesting. But actually, like, there's a 3-hour class, you're going to probably learn one thing. And more than anything, those are things that we will cover either on a video that you might watch when you get your machine or when you come on the foundation workshop. So they're not really designed for that. They're designed for people who really want to find out more than you can just by coming up and having a play on a machine. That's what they're there for. So if you're one of those people, perfect. Perfect. Come along. Festival of Quilts, you can book online, and there are classes available Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and half day on Sunday. Cool. That's it, Pete. I think we're there. That's it. It's a bank holiday weekend. Have a wonderful time. I think one of the things that I'll be planning on doing is doing a little block for the local quilt group so that I can enter another competition where I just do one block. which is the only way I can get my quilts done at the moment. So what about you, Pete? What are you up to? You decorating?
I'll be decorating if the cricket's called off.
You love decorating. We're both going to be decorating, aren't we? So that we can get it all finished. So we look forward to seeing you. We'll be on next Friday. We'll be doing the live draw. We'll be doing the draw. We'll have done it in advance because we have to use a random number generator to be able to pick the people who are entered in this lovely competition to win the panel and the thread.
We could do it live, Liz. We could still use the random number generator.
No, because we've got to put everybody on a spreadsheet and stuff, and I just think that would be a bit tedious.
Okay.
Yeah, we can record it. Okay. So, we are done. You have a wonderful weekend and very happy quilting.